Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm here to talk about the Mafia Misfits series by Asia Monique. This is a series of companion novels following different members of Black Mafia families. They could be read as standalones, however, I love companion novels and I like reading them in order, so that's what I've been doing. This is part 1 because the author is planning to do 10 books and 5 of them have been released so far. These books are available on Kindle Unlimited, and in them we are following 5 families. So I'm going to talk about each of the books, but I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. I am going to do this spoiler free because I do encourage you to actually read them and pick them up. I am not really a Mafia girly, or maybe I am now, but it is solely due to this series and I have been enjoying reading it so far. So because we're following 5 different families, there are a lot of names, but with the exception of Sinful Vow, I think that there is a family breakdown at the beginning of each book, and it'll tell you which family this person is a part of. If they're married to someone, it'll tell you what family they're a part of and other connections that they may have. So even though I am going to be saying names, don't feel like you have to remember all of them because she will go over that at the beginning of the book. In the beginning of each book, there are also content warnings. So they do vary from book to book, but there are some that are recurring themes. We are talking about a mafia, so there will be violence and murder, some torture, and also there are mentions of sex trafficking due to an organization that is not a part of this main group. So just be aware of that. But again, there will be content warnings at the beginning of each book. So in this series, we are following members of the Delegation, which is a collection of Black Mafia families who may be tied to other organizations and have potentially decided to leave them or have been pushed out of them due to racism. And so they've come together and formed an alliance called the Delegation. So within that, we have the Morettis, Bianchis, O'Sullivans, Satos, and Ivanovs. The Morettis and Bianchis are Italian Mafia, Ivanovs are Russian Mafia, O'Sullivans are Irish Mob, and Satos are the Yakuza. So I'm gonna run through the books that I've read so far. I do know which characters book 6 is gonna follow, and then I have some predictions for some of the others. One thing that I also really like about this series, and I think is pretty common to romance in general, especially written by women, is that while all of these men are mob bosses and whatever, they treat their women with the utmost respect, and I love that. It's really great. So like some of them can be very brutal and vicious, and then they also have a soft side that is reserved for the significant other. Also, quick shout out to Heather from Mia Booktubes, because I don't think I would have discovered this series if I hadn't heard about it directly from her. She has definitely gotten me on board with Mafia books. These are the first 5 that I have read, but I am kind of interested in exploring a few more now. In book 1, Sinful Vow, we are following Lucia Moretti and Enzo Bianchi. Lucia's father is the head of the Delegation, and the Bianchis are the newest family to join them. So this one includes an arranged marriage, and one of them is an assassin. I rated this 4.75 stars, basically 5 stars, but there was just one thing that Enzo did sort of towards the end that I didn't really like. It made me dislike him a little bit, and it also made me knock my rating down a little bit. But there is a wedding scene in here that is my absolute favorite from the entire series. Highly recommend, because this was really good and damn good way to kick off a series. In book 2, Sinful Redemption, we are following Luca Moretti, who is Lucia's twin brother, and Galina Whitlock. While her last name is Whitlock, she is a part of the Ivanov family, which is the Russian Mafia. Make no mistake that regardless of whether the women are a part of the business or not, they are just as badass as the men, and each of them is going to get their kills in, and I love it. This one was a little insta-lovey for me, and granted, these are all pretty short. I believe they're all under 300 pages, as a romance should be. But this one, yeah, it just felt very insta-lovey for me, because you see their first interaction, and I was kind of like, already? Okay, if you say so. I rated Sinful Redemption 4 stars. That is the lowest rating that I have given any of the books so far. So pretty good indication of how that's going. In book 3, Sinful Surrender, we are following Matteo Bianchi and Akira Wright. Matteo is Enzo's little brother, and Akira, her mother, is the head of the Yakuza. Very interesting storyline with her mother and how she became head of the family. I absolutely love it. I kind of wish we had gotten to see a little bit more from her mom at least. In this one, it is sort of a second chance romance. Matteo and Akira had met a while ago, but there were circumstances, and then we kind of actually see their relationship start for real this time, kind of. And while I loved Matteo, I love how patient and understanding that man was. Akira got on my fucking nerves because I was like, ma'am, please make up your mind. Actually, you don't even have to make up your mind because we all know where this is leading, but let's get to it sooner rather than later, please and thank you. Also, this one opens up on a pretty interesting situation. Someone gets their throat slashed in like chapter 1 or 2. It started off with a bang. I rated that one 4.5 stars, and then in book 4, Sinful Desire, we are following Cian O'Sullivan and Gianna Bianchi. So Cian's family is a part of the Irish mob, and Gianna is little sister to Enzo and Matteo. So where we pick up with their story, Gianna is getting ready to graduate from college, and this one was also insta-lovey, a little more like insta-lust, for real. But if you're a BDSM girly, you're gonna like this one. I did not like this one as much. I still rated it 4 stars, but some of the things I was just like, that's not my style, but I think it will be for a lot of other people. This one's also set in Philly, so bonus points for that. And then in book 5, Sinful Obsession, we are following Finnegan O'Sullivan and Violet Jackson. Finnegan is little brother to Cian from the previous book, and this one has a revenge plot, which I really like. Now, I will also caution that Violet was a victim of sex trafficking, and so while none of what happened to her is explicitly detailed, she is still sort of coping with and dealing with that a little bit. Not too heavily, but it is going to be mentioned pretty often. And I love a revenge plot, so this one I rated 4.25 stars. So far, I've had a wonderful time reading all of these books. I love them so much. I do know that book 6 is going to be Sinful Enforcer, where we're going to be following Rocco, who is the enforcer for the Bianchis, along with Jaya, who is Lucia and Luca's cousin, I think. Something like that. I don't know. That book was supposed to be released this year. However, Asia Monique decided that she needed to take a break. She needed to redo some things, and she had been cranking out books left and right. Like, she already has like 40 something out, and she was just like, I've not stopped since I've started, and I just need to take some time away. So we're still waiting on a release date for that, but as soon as it is available, I will definitely be reading it. So while I know what book 6 is, I'm not quite sure about book 7. There was a Benji mentioned at some point, and I can't remember who the fuck that is, but I did see in comments of one of her TikToks that he's supposed to be book 7. Wait, no, that's not who I'm thinking of. I don't know who the fuck that is. There are also 2 other O'Sullivan brothers who might get stories, mayhaps. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this series being released. Now that I have caught up though, I do need to read some other romance authors. I need to get back to CCJ. I need to start reading Alexandria House. So I'm gonna start doing that while I'm very impatiently waiting for Sinful Enforcer to be released. I already know that Rocco is fucking unhinged, so I cannot wait to read that one. I love all of the female main characters in the series except for Akira because she was getting on my fucking nerves. As far as the male main characters, I definitely think that Matteo and Finnegan were my favorites. Probably Finn, honestly. If you are at all interested in Mafia romance, then I definitely recommend this series. I think it was a good starting place for me as someone who had never read Mafia before, but also who had taken a really long time to actually get into romance. I'm officially claiming that I'm a romance reader now. Feels weird, but this is where we're at. Asia Monique also has a ton of other books. Like I said, she has like 40 something, so she has other series. Definitely will be diving into those at some point. But for now, let me know if you have read any of the books in the Mafia Misfits series or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.